Hello everybody, my name is Connor and welcome to one of our store regional games. We are playing against a Yamato, which I have been playing Yamatos a lot recently, but I did want to say that I will be probably cutting out some parts just where my opponent takes some time thinking, or just when I take some time thinking, just to keep the flow of the video going. But don't worry, that's not happening yet because my opponent is doing the classic Yamato turn 1, swinging 8 at lead, and seeing as I have so little counter in hand, I decide to take it. We get another croc, and we get a Doflamingo. I'm pretty happy to see the Doflamingo. I'm thinking, cool, a blocker. That'll save my butt a bit. But yeah, so our opening hand started with 2 10-drop Kaidos, which is not something you want to see. We swing 6 into life, trying to get the Yamato to take a life, and they actually end up giving me the Capone for counter, which I'm okay with. We drop the 3-cost Dofi, and we check the top of our life, and I am so glad I checked at the top of my life because I have 1k counter in the top of my life. If I left that in the top of my life, it would have been bad news. So thankfully, even though we have 2 of the 10-drop Kaidos, we do have 1 of our 0-cost events. I'm definitely thinking about changing the numbers on the Kaido. I felt like in this tournament, I bricked with a lot of events and Kaidos, so potentially adding more 0-cost events. But we are probably going to be going to try some Rob Lucci. Maybe. I'm very nervous to play him. I know he seems very big brain and I am small brain, but my opponent plays out the Izo, resting Doflamingo, and with 2 Dawn left, I think they're going to go ahead and attach that. Yep, attach that and swing it 7 at me. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to use 2k or 2 of the 2k counters or the 0-cost event. The 0-cost event would get me out of it, but it would also reveal Kaido. I feel like dropping the 0-cost and 1 of the Kaidos kind of reveals that I have another Kaido in hand. Potentially, my opponent could also think that I it's too early in the game to have Kaido. So that's what I'm hoping for. At 6 Dawn, we are going to be able to play the Boa just to get that large body on board, which is great. And we do have a lot of our Crocs actually, which is kind of wild. I go ahead and I swing 5 at lead just to see if I can get a card out of hand or get a life off of them, something like that. And they go ahead and take their first life. I tap 6 and drop the Boa, freezing Izo. I'm not super worried about Izo, but why not freeze it if I can? And I can, so I do. So as I've mentioned, store regionals happened. I didn't do as well as I wanted to do, but I still had fun. I went about 2 and 4, which kind of made a lot of sense because I'm super rusty in the Enel matchup, so that was incredibly the first Enel game I played like just an idiot, honestly. I only faced 1 Lucci, and I think I did okay with the Lucci match. We might go over that one. We might go over the Enel match where I was an idiot, or we might do the red purple law match. So let me know what you guys want to see. I was able to record the final. We posted that on the day after the store regionals. I'll make sure there is a card up somewhere. But yeah, it was a really fun event, and I'm hoping to find a deck that's a little more competitive than Boa. I think there was 1 other Boa player there, so that was at least nice to know. But find a deck that's a little more competitive and really play them. I'm looking at Rob Lucci, I'm looking at blue-yellow Luffy, and I'm actually blue-yellow. I am looking at blue-yellow Ace, but I'm looking at black-yellow Luffy as well. So my opponent plays this event, which isn't an event I've seen a lot. I'll try and put a picture of the event. I think it's a relatively new one. but he gets to rest one of his characters, rest my character, and I think he buffs his Yamato up as well. So definitely a scary turn coming from my opponent. Yeah, not looking forward to this. I feel like my card moving, I can't card shuffle, unfortunately. I want to, but I can't. My card moving becomes faster when I get more nervous, and my opponent's looking at loading up all that Dawn, and he does. He loads up all that Dawn and swings, and I'm counting on my cards, you know, classic 4th grade, count the dots on the numbers to make sure that I can get out of this, because I don't want to go to 1 life already. I was really hoping that the Doflamingo would do some more blocking, but green being green and my opponent playing a partially green deck, really making that Dofi very, very sleepy, I guess, resting him all the time. And I end up deciding to counter out with my crocodiles, counting through the math right there. And now my hand is not looking great. So I'm definitely hoping that next turn my opponent plays a body so I can do something there. But we are at 8 Dawn, I believe. Hoping to Gravity Blade next turn. Yeah, 8 Dawn. But we did top deck the Sengoku, which thank goodness, honestly. I go ahead and I tap 1, dropping Sengoku and getting a search off, and here are all our 2Ks. Kind of unfortunate that this is what I see, but I do decide to take the Law. I could have taken Mihawk, but I think Law in this situation might be more beneficial, just because I am low on cards, and yeah, it's for Dawn to bounce one of his cards to the bottom of the deck if he's at 6, but I felt like that was better suited. And we do drop our Gecko to grab back one of our 2K Crocs, so now we have 4K in counter, which honestly is great. So I swing 8 into lead, and my opponent, I believe, takes the, yep, he goes ahead and takes the hit, dropping him down to 2 life. And with the rest of the 3 Dawn, I swing another 8 into lead. I didn't really have another play, and I thought Dofi was finally going to be able to, get a block in. But so I swung with 8 with lead. Maybe I should have swung Dofi into Izo with some of that Dawn, and then swung 5 lead, something like that. But I think it does end up working for us in the end. So while I'm not the biggest fan of this play, I think removing Izo is a solid choice, especially since they're going into the 9 Dawn turn. They do end up countering out with 2 2Ks, I believe. So, not too upset about that. I think their hand size is about 4 right now. No, a little more than 4. I had to keep my camera kind of low, just because the judges were concerned about getting extra information. So I didn't get hand cam or my opponent's hand size in this video. I did it a little better in another Yamato game that I played, but I don't want to flood you guys with too many Yamato games, so let me know if you want to see the other Yamato game as well as this one. Otherwise, we're probably just going to do one of the earlier matches I mentioned, potentially 2 of those, depending on how I do this week at my locals. But my opponent separating his Dawn, counting some stuff out. There'll probably be a bit of a cut here. If I remember, this turn does take a bit of thinking. My opponent tapping 2 Dawn for, yeah, so he taps 2 Dawn for the Straw Sword, once again resting Dofi. And I'm like, in this, he has tapped so much. He has tapped my Doflamingo like every turn. Like, I have to, he's got to be running out of cards. Like, what are the chances that he continually has more cards to, tap Doflamingo? Please. So doing some more thinking with the rest of his Dawn. He taps 2 to play 2 million volts Amaru on the Yamato, boosting her by 3, making her a, what is that, 5? 8. So she is a 8k swing. And then he swings 12 at Boa, and I let her go. I couldn't even save her if I wanted to. Then he uses Yamato ability, swinging 5 into Dofi, and I actually consider letting Dofi go here, but as I mentioned earlier, I was like, he just used so much. He's been able to rest it every turn. I'm gonna counter out, and hopefully I'm able to get a block off with him. But I do end up top decking another Dofi, which isn't too bad, honestly. Not too upset about that. And since that Iso did get a swing in, I think I am gonna want to remove it from board after dropping our dropping 10 cost Kaido this turn. Oh, I go 5 into Iso, and he just goes ahead and lets Iso go. I swing 5 into Yamato, trying to get another card out of his hand. His hand size looking about 5. Countering out with the Shiraya, and we end up tapping our 10 Dawn and dropping Kaido, drawing 4 cards. Seeing a lot of 1k counters and a Boa. Seeing Boa isn't the worst thing. Yeah, I'm definitely okay seeing Boa. Of course, I think I would have liked to see a couple more 2k counters, just because those are very comforting during a Yamato match. All we have here is the Doflamingo blocker that does keep getting rested, but hopefully he doesn't have anything to rest the Doflamingo. I am kind of expecting a Hody Jones turn, especially since I did just drop, Kaido, a big guy. Kind of assuming my opponent will answer with another big body. My opponent taps 2 Dawn for the Hiyori. Taking something out of his life to put something else in his life, and he's sorting through his Dawn, trying to think about how he wants to do his turn, while he decides what he wants to put in his life. Vi very excited to see what he puts in his life. He ends up picking something and is looking at his Dawn, trying to figure out how he sorted it exactly. Ends up going, what is that? 8 into life, and Dofi is here. Dofi finally gets to do what he was supposed to do all along. I could 0 cost event, but this is seeming like a good spot for Dofi to finally be off the board. So pretty pleased that I was able to save Dofi last turn so he could block that hit this turn. Pretty happy with that. And I do have another Dofi in my hand, so I'm kind of assuming that my opponent doesn't have too much to do here, as far as resting my Doflamingo. So 7, 8, 9 into life, and I'm thinking about countering out. I'm counting how many cards I have, kind of trying to figure out how exactly I want to go about this. If I want to take the hit, counter out. So I do end up countering out with the Boa, putting me at 8, and then doing 2k Law. And I'm thinking that gets enough cards out of my hand where I can benefit from a Gravity Blade, as well as dropping the Doflamingo. So we tap 7, or we separate 7 and then tap 7 to Gravity Blade, seeing as I have about 5 cards in hand. Using Gravity Blade will make it 4. Yeah, I go 12 into life first, just to just in case he has. I know he plays the beige, so just in case he put beige there, I don't want him to beige, but he flame spirits, and that does stop my gecko from attacking, or it rests my gecko. It's a 4 cost, a character cost 4 or less, I believe. So I end up swinging 5 into lead, and he takes. And I'm thinking about Gravity Blading, dropping the Dofi, but he's got 3 in hand. I have all 10 of my Dawn up, and I decided to go for the 12k Sengoku swing, seeing if Sengoku can finish out the match, and he is able to. So we do get that first game, pretty good games. So he looks like he did have a couple. Yeah, he had 2 Hody Jones in his hand, and I was definitely, I'm telling him that I was terrified of the Hody. But yeah, overall solid performance, I think, from me, and my opponent was super kind, and visited from out of town to come play. So that was really cool to get that interaction. And yeah, so that is one of the 2 games I was able to walk away with the win. Of course, the game in the final round I did not record. I played it much better than the other Anel game I played, but I was recording the finals, so I was unable to record the finals as well as my game. But it was against Ron, who is a local who I've had on the channel several times, usually whooping my butt, except for in the one Purple Yellow Croc final where he was playing Kid. But overall, really fun experience. Let me know what games you guys want to see. There will be snippets of them in the vlog that I'm trying to put together. And yeah, that is going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.